So what about up here? I mean, it looks pretty wild, and it's going to be a long way to go down the valley and then back up to the forest. Like, if you're going for the tree line, this is a really long way to go. So you have a second best option if you're really stuck and you can't get that mile up and down the valley to a tree line. What do you do then?
Yeah, imagine being injured and actually looking over at those trees and going, no way, if only I was over there, but I'm stuck here. So you'd literally, back again, like you'd literally got to use what you've got around you. I'd be ripping up all these grasses here, all these brown top bit. I'd just be ripping them up, and getting as much as you possibly can, and then trying to tuck in a bit out of the wind, and then just literally covering yourself over in as much foliage as you can. Just pile it on and pile it on and pile it on, and then yeah, go to sleep, wait for the rain to pass.
Even if it's wet, just pile it.
Yeah, just pile it on. You won't believe how much your internal fire will dry it. Like it's incredible. Like as long as you can create that dead air space around you. I mean, what's around a sleeping bag? Like 3 inches, maybe 4 inches. If you put a foot of debris around you, a foot to a foot and a half of debris, trust me, it's not going to be long until your body heat's dried out what's around you, and then the stuff on the outside, the water's just running off and keeping you dry. You'll be fine. You'll just be snuggled in there like a little mouse hidden in a field somewhere, go to sleep and wait for the sun to come out.
And just a quick word from this video's sponsor. You know, if you'd worked for a company for years before COVID came along and they let you go, you may have left some treasure behind. Your old 401k or IRA could be worth thousands, and it's still working for your old firm, not you. So if you're a bit uncertain about what the future holds right now, and how you can convert your old 401k or IRA into a gold or precious metals-backed IRA, it's worth jumping on the phone and calling the team at Noble Gold. 877-646-5347, and the link's in the description box below. And on this journey, I'm with John Hickman of Primitive Ways channel on YouTube, Wildcraft Lifestyle, taking us through emergencies in case you're in a storm in wide open areas, as well as John Kitson from 5gawareness.com talking about towers out in this particular open, wide landscape and the effects on the natural biome up here in the moors, southwest England.
Yeah, and you very well could wake up the next day and this front's passed and it's blue skies again.
Yeah. Get out, and then the stuff that your body heat's dried off around you as well, there's your tinder. And clothing as well, actually. Imagine if you haven't got enough clothing up here. That caveman they found, they buried him from the ice up on the Pyrenees in France. He was wearing a grass skirt, like a full body kind of grass skirt. So if you had to, you could find, you know, there's bound to be something around here that you can make a bit of cordage out of. Even if you've got to weave the older grasses into each other so you can make a bit of a cordage, then you can layer cordage around your body and then fold the grass over it and then build like a full-bodied grass skirt. Like that's what you'd have to do if you didn't have the right clothing, and that is going to save your life. You won't believe how good a grass skirt is. Amazing.
Yeah, because people that ride motorcycle and use newspapers and put it right in their chest area to block the wind, and you can't, they say the same thing, like 3 or 4 layers of newspaper, and you just, an incredible difference.
Yeah, I've not heard that. That's awesome.
Yeah, when they ride motorbikes, they use the newspaper, put it in and block the wind. Yeah.
And there's something I can see over there, waving around over there, things sticking up. Like I know from here that that's not foxglove, because foxglove would have, like, all the bobbly bits on it would have died back by now. For me, looking at that looks like mullein, and mullein is one of the top 5 hand drill choices on the planet, so that's a good thing. But then you'd have to find your baseboard, so then you'd be looking for some medium hardness kind of wood around, maybe some, there's some willow right there, but yeah, to get a hand drill going in this kind of weather, very, very, very unlikely. So you're going to have to stick with your internal fire as your fire source. So that means dead air space. But yeah, no, I'd be looking for bow drill materials when it's damp. Hand drills, like warmer climates, summertime in the UK, firelighting technique. But this kind of weather, you'd have to have a bow. You'd have to be doing a bow drill, and you'd have to choose denser woods, because you're going to have to apply more pressure because the stuff's wet. You're going to have to apply more pressure to create more heat. So that means you need to create, to choose, you know, denser woods. This is what you have to do. Sometimes it's, you know, different densities of woods for different conditions, but wet conditions, yeah, denser wood for sure. More heat, more pressure. Look at those woods in the background.
Yeah, how long would it take most people to walk to those woods? It's like the average person. You're going to go down, what, 1,000 feet and then up to the forest again, right? So you're talking about 1,000-foot descent and 1,000-foot ascent. Or let's say even, say 800 feet. What's the average person going to take to traverse that distance? Like John and I, we're going to have a race. We're going to race over there right now. How long do you think it'll take us? Basically is the question.
I reckon if you were racing it, I reckon you'd do it in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
From here to those woods walking, I reckon you'd do 35 minutes. Yeah.
35 minutes.
Yeah, it's not actually that far, really.
It's not, but when a storm blows in like this and you're totally unprepared in a t-shirt or something.
Yeah, oh yeah, my God.
Condition changed.
If
You're
you've got,
sprinted if you're in a t-shirt, right? To bring
mate,
yourself up.
if you've got a t-shirt on and it's made of cotton, I'd probably be taking it off.
Off, yeah.
Yeah, death cloth.
That's it.
Yeah, it's worse.
It's good in the summer to, you know, with cooler water to make it stick to your body, though. In the summertime,
yeah.
when you want to cool off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cotton in the hot climates is amazing. But yeah, no, I'd take it off and wrap it up and try and keep it dry. So then when you actually get somewhere and it's drier and it's warmer,
Good
then
advice.
you can put it back on and then it will keep you warm. So I'd literally take it off and wrap it up into a ball really tightly and then just tuck it and put it under my arms. Tuck it right
Like
up
a
under your
football.
arm, yeah, and just run with that little Bessie like it's a little baby, like, because even though, like, it's funny how, like, cotton will kill you in the wrong condition, but in the right condition, when you get there, it's going to save your life. Just having that little layer over you to trap that more extra body heat, lifesaver. But you just got, like, you got to, every little thing makes a difference. Everything, every footstep you make, like where you put things on your body to keep it dry, the angle that you're facing the weather, so you might have to change the, you know, the position you're walking. Like, there's so much detail goes into such simple things, but that's why for me anyway, that I've just loved embodying these skills, because what it does to your mind, the way it makes you see everything, the way it makes you think about everything and understand, like, you just like the detail and the it's what it draws out of you. Honestly, I can't put it into words. You've got to do it for yourself. You just got to get out there and let these natural thought processes in the environment just stimulate the hell out of you. It's amazing.
You got to figure out how to use that grass to keep yourself alive in so many ways. God, that's a skill, you know?
Yep. Tinder, cordage, clothing, shelter.
And when you look at it like that and you really take it into perspective, how many people on the planet are even ready for that, you know, or prepared to, or even have these kind of skills? 1/5 of 1/8 of 1%, something like this, or do you think it might be lower or higher?
I don't know.
You know, because what you're doing is incredibly different, and like your level of understanding is, you should have your own television program. If you want, you know, I mean, like every time you watch what's that guy's Baird and some other guys, they go out in the forest.
Oh yeah, the
and they jump.
Bear Grylls and
Yeah,
Ray
I mean,
Mears.
it sounds like I'm standing right next to you, sitting with you, talking to you know, the same thing.
I love it.
Well, it's not like you flinch. It's like instantaneous. Bam, 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 bam. Everything. You know.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like the more you do these skills, the more you do it. Like that's what happens to you. You embody this kind of ability just to be ridiculously resourceful, practical, aware, responsible. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Like this is what we're built for. We're built for, like, to integrate into the landscape in that way, for the landscape to give us massive feedback and for us to feed in. And like, human beings shouldn't be a hindrance on the landscape. We should be enhancing the environment. Like, here's a good one, for instance. We wee nitrogen, we poo phosphorus, and the fires we leave behind are potassium, the 3 major elements for plant life. So, yeah, human beings, yeah, we're supposed to be here integrating in with the landscape, for sure.
But the AI has forced us out of it.
Oh, it totally has.
A huge tower with 30, 40 receivers on it. I wouldn't like that in the landscape. I think this looks too natural. But I mean, what kind of effect do you think it would have on the plants, animals, etc. if you just put a full-on receiver tower out here, a broadcasting tower. And I don't know, we're just going to watch this scene here while John Kitson from 5gawareness.com explains that.
Indeed. I mean, the range of 5G, basically at the moment, with 4G, we're exposed to up to about 2.5 gigahertz, and that's the same frequency as a microwave oven. So a lot of people have just got to try and think about this practically, because we're being exposed to that frequency. So even a 3G or a 4G mast up here would be absolutely devastating over time. And the problem with the microwave radiation that these phone masts and antennas are giving off, it's very slow and subtle, and it damages DNA. Now, all living things are made up of DNA, so plants, humans, animals, and plants, trees are very vulnerable because, of course, their organs are on the outside. And you can see it with the leaves going brown, with the, losing that green color, losing that life, the vitality, the tree bark coming away. Now with 5G is 5th generation. That's the main definition of 5G. And it's a lot more of what we already have. So it's densification of the 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. So a lot more antennas, a lot more of this technology, the Internet of Things, everything connecting with everything else. And then 5G going all the way up to 100 gigahertz, possibly 300 gigahertz. Now you put one of those, let's say, you have a massive 5G phone mast that's emitting a very high frequency, emit a very hostile energy that's completely incompatible with the Schumann resonance, which of course is the resonance, the frequency of nature. And it's going to change that into something very harmful that's actually out of resonance with all living things.
Can you explain the beauty that'll be lost in this place so people can look it up on the images and maps themselves and see what would be lost by scattering masts across this landscape?
Definitely. So we're in Dartmoor right now. We're right in the middle of Dartmoor, and this is a very famous natural spot in the UK where there are a lot of wild animals here, plants. It's all completely untouched by human activity, hasn't been farmed. So you've got all these beautiful wildlands, and it's just one of the small areas now that you find in the UK that hasn't really been touched, it hasn't been tampered with. And the conditions here can be very harsh, but at the same time it reminds you of nature. It reminds you that, nature's not an easy ride. You get some really brutal conditions, and of course we've had constant rain over the last few days. But this is a very precious spot for a lot of people, and I think we really need to protect these places because otherwise we're going to lose them. And a lot of people come here just to walk around, climb up the tors. You've got a hay tor, you've got a number of different tors here. And people can freely camp here. It's a place where you can really be free. We really need to learn to adapt to the changing climate, to respect the environment around us, and to really form a connection with it, to become aware. Because that's what a lot of people are lacking now in this world of technology. They're, watching reality TV, they're becoming unaware of their surroundings. They're becoming closed off. And if you're out here on Dartmoor, you're by yourself, you're in a survival situation. I mean, how many people would be able to survive out here if they just got stuck? How many people would be able to exist? So we've got to learn those values, those skills, and we've got to start getting prepared, train ourselves up, get all that knowledge back so that we can live once again in nature. Because I think we're coming to a time now where the technology that has so far served us is actually getting problematic, and I think the earth is going to be going through a lot of changes, and we've got to learn to live off the land, to be able to use the land, the animals, how to live with them, live from them, nourish ourselves, and to truly become aware beings and connect with those other people who are open-minded, who want to learn, who want to help. You know, community is everything, and you know, you don't want to be by yourself. You want to connect with others. You know, to live in a community, you need about 100 people, and all those skills you're just bringing to the table. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? We got used to this 24-hour world, this sort of just-in-time delivery system that we just got used to, ordering things with one click, this cashless society. I mean, is this really leading to more freedom? But this is why we need the skills as backup in case everything else fails. You know, the technology fails, the grid goes down. I mean, what are people going to do? If you can live off the land, you know the basic skills, how to build a shelter, how to source water, how to build a fire, you know, just those basics, you can really get by.
Part 2. There you go.
Yeah, it's like part of the new green agenda. So all the modern tractors have built in them, you know, like you have to pay certain tariffs and things and stuff like that now, and if you haven't paid it, they'll turn your tractor off remotely from miles away. They're shut, you know. Yeah,
that's where it's becoming too scary to deal with that.
Yeah, and that's what I believe the 5G is as well. It's just basically a giant remote control. We can turn your power off. We can shut down grid remotely from miles away, and if you can control the power, you can control the civilizations.
I can control every mechanism of that working